My name is Pranitha, a sophomore at Baylor University. Today, I am talking about a case study experiment that I conducted on myself regarding the effects of white rice on sleep. I pursued this research topic for my neuroscience sleep class because white rice is a major component of many Indian diets, but some Indian cultures don't eat white rice at night. So I was curious if the health component that they worry about has something to do with their sleep. So, my 4-day experiment, a self case study, was set up on an AB design. What this means is that I didn't eat white rice on days 1 and 3, and I ate about 300 grams of cooked white rice, on days 2 and 4. I also kept the total calories per day constant. And one thing I was strict about was the timing of my meals, and I made sure to eat dinner around 3 hours before bedtime. My dependent variables were measured both objectively with an Oura ring and subjectively with a daily sleep diary. The measurements included sleep latency, which is how fast I fall asleep, total sleep time, which is how long my consolidated sleep throughout the night adds up to. It's important to note that the total sleep duration takes into account the amount of times that you wake up in the night and how long you were up as well. And takes into account how long it took you to fall asleep and how long you were in bed after. And then the comparison of the total sleep duration and all those other factors that I just mentioned of being up at night or taking time to fall asleep or just laying in bed after you wake up, that's sleep efficiency, and so which is total sleep time divided by total time in bed. So here we have my data for sleep latency. The first thing that jumps out to you is the glaring discrepancy between my objective and subjective measures. The confound was screen time in bed. It was Thanksgiving break, and I was not very disciplined and used my phone in bed while I was just reading a book that was meant to relax me. It was screen time. And then, if you notice, objective data shows greater latency on nights with white rice, while subjective data shows greater latency on nights without white rice, with, of course, a little more variation. And it's overall an unreliable measurement, simply because I was not cognizant of the confounds. So here's the data for total sleep time. If you look at the graph, it's not as obvious whether the averages will amount to be different, but once calculated, it showed that on the nights without white rice, I had about 35,000 seconds of sleep, and then on the nights with white rice, I had about 23,000 seconds of sleep. There is an obvious variable, but once again, there's another confound because this was Thanksgiving break and I was consistently sleep deprived the few weeks before break. I was definitely rebounding from my sleep debt, and so some of the days I would sleep more than usual, like up to 10 hours. And so, how reliable is my data really? I don't know. So, with my sleep efficiency data, there was not a notable difference. But it's important to note that I didn't know how to find significance with this being a case study, and also with it being only over the period of 4 days. If it was a greater longitudinal study, I might have had better data with dismissible confounds. Okay, so a glaring issue with this case study was the issue with timing. Because it was over Thanksgiving break, I was recovering from sleep debt. It was hard to self-control around so much food, and it was also difficult to self-control with so much free time. While the food, I did manage to discipline myself, it was hard with the free time and the sleep hygiene. And then some changes would be to select a different time period and control for my sleep discipline and my sleep hygiene. I would like to say that I had a good time conducting this experiment. Either way, it was nice to be cognizant of what I was eating, and also the awareness that I've had after the experiment and after looking at my data and how I could be changing my sleep hygiene.